For more on this, we're joined now by Trita Parsi, who is the co-founder and executive vice president of the Quincy Institute. Thank you for being with us on the program. Give me your thoughts on these remarks that we've now heard from Trump saying that he wants to negotiate a nuclear deal with Iran. He says that he's written a letter to them. Iran has denied those reports, saying that they've received a letter. What are your thoughts?
Well, the latest on that is that the Iranians are saying that they haven't received the letter, and Trump officials are saying that the letter actually has not been sent. In principle, of course, it's very good that Trump is breaking a lot of artificial barriers that have existed in the American political culture, as well as elsewhere, such as the idea that you shouldn't talk to countries that you're in disagreement with, or that there's a cost to simply talking to the other side, that you're legitimizing them, etc. So in that sense, that's obviously very good. But the content of the letter and the content of Trump's bargaining position is obviously going to be far more important. What he seems to be suggesting in these comments is that he's going to offer the Iranians some sort of a deal that seems to be most likely a deal similar to what happened with Libya, which is at least what the Israelis are trying to get Trump to adopt. And if not, he's talking about this other option, which he also then suggests can solve the problem or will solve the problem. So he seems to be essentially going at this from a standpoint of an ultimatum, that he's going to essentially offer the Iranians some sort of a capitulation. And if they don't, he believes that the military option will work. It could also, of course, be that he's going to be much more diplomatic than that, and that he's going to have a much more realistic negotiating position. But if his demand is that the Iranians essentially give up their entire nuclear program, including all of the civilian aspects of it, as Libya did, then I think that is a strategy that has been sold to Trump, but is a strategy that, frankly, is designed to fail.
This is a very different approach from Trump that we're seeing now in his second term in office compared to his first term, where he had directly pulled out of the JCPOA. Walk us through why Trump is taking this route in getting to what he essentially wants to be a peace plan through diplomacy with Iran.
So in his first term, he did pull out of the JCPOA, but it seems like he actually wanted a deal. He had just been sold a highly, highly problematic strategy, thinking that he should just pull out of the deal, impose massive sanctions on the Iranians. Eventually, the Iranians would come begging for a deal. And this was sold to him by Pompeo and Bolton, who very much designed it to fail because they wanted to see a military confrontation. Now, those individuals are no longer in the White House, but some of the plans that they had put in place seems to still be the blueprint that Trump is pursuing. Because on the one hand, he's directly talking about getting a deal. He says that he wants to have something that is fair, etc. He's not looking for regime change. He's not talking about other issues except the nuclear issue. Yet the policy memorandum, the presidential memorandum that he signed about 3 or 4 weeks ago, is very different from what he's actually saying. The memorandum goes back to the Pompeo and Bolton strategy, zero enrichment, no ballistic missile, talks about all kinds of other issues, unclear whether they also are red lines or not. So this has injected a tremendous amount of confusion into the situation, in which it's not really clear, does Trump actually run his own policy at this point, or is it still in the hands of some of those people who deliberately drove it towards failure last time around?
It's going to be interesting hearing from Pezeshkian and, of course, the supreme leader. Pezeshkian, as we know, when he was brought into office, he's a reformist. Everyone knew that he looked positively towards, fixing things with the United States. What can we expect in terms of the reaction moving forward from the leaders?
So Pezeshkian, as you mentioned, ran on a platform of wanting to restore diplomatic talks with the United States and wanted to resolve the nuclear issue. Iran very much needs it in order to get sanctions relief, and seemed to have had at least a tacit approval of the supreme leader to go in this direction, which all was essentially the same up until Trump signed that memorandum. And then we can see a significant shift just 2 days later from Khamenei pouring cold water on talks. Now, I think that can be salvaged, but it very much depends on what is in the letter. If it is so that Trump adopts the Israeli strategy of pushing the Iranians to capitulate their nuclear program and go for a Libyan model, then I think is a complete non-starter, and we will very likely see very clear movement towards military action by the United States and Israel in the next couple of weeks and months.
Okay, Trita Parsi, thank you so much for being with me here on TRT World. I always appreciate your analysis.
Thank you so much.